The crash. The night was quiet in the forest outside New Seattle. The only sound was the wind moving through the trees. Eli, a young scavenger, walked slowly between the shadows. His eyes searched the ground for anything useful, old metal, broken tech, maybe even something he could sell. He lived alone. No family, no friends, just him and his small cabin hidden deep in the woods. It was safer this way. People couldn't be trusted anymore. Suddenly, a loud sound cut through the sky. A boom, like thunder, but sharper. A streak of fire lit the clouds above, moving fast. Eli looked up. Something was falling. Something big. He followed the sound, moving quickly now. Trees cracked ahead. Smoke filled the air. After 5 minutes of running, he saw it, a crash site. A silver pod had landed in a small clearing, leaving a path of broken trees behind. The pod was still hot. It hissed and sparked. Eli stood back, ready to run if it exploded. But then he heard something. A voice. Soft. Weak. A cry. He stepped closer and saw a small door on the side of the pod. It was open just a little. Slowly, he pulled it wider. Inside was a girl. But not human. She was glowing faintly, her skin a soft blue. Her hair floated like it was underwater. Her eyes were wide, full of pain and fear. Her arms and legs were cut and burned. A strange liquid dripped from a wound on her side. Eli froze. He had never seen anything like her. "Please," the girl whispered. "Help me." His heart raced. He looked around, half expecting soldiers or drones to jump out from the trees. But no one came. Only the sound of the fire and her breathing filled the space. He reached into the pod and carefully pulled her out. She was light, like she weighed nothing. He wrapped her in his jacket and started back toward his cabin. Halfway there, she suddenly screamed, "Stop, you're hurting me." Eli stopped in shock. He looked down. He wasn't doing anything, just holding her gently. "I'm not hurting you," he said. "You're bleeding." "I'm trying to help." But her eyes were full of panic. She pushed weakly at his chest, trying to get away. Still, he didn't let go. He just walked faster. When they reached his cabin, he laid her on the table and grabbed his old first aid kit. Most of the supplies were expired, but it was all he had. He started cleaning the wound on her side. She screamed again. "No, stop, it burns." "I have to clean it," Eli said, voice calm but firm. "Or it'll get worse." Her hands shook. She tried to sit up but was too weak. As he worked, he noticed something strange. When he touched her skin, glowing symbols appeared for a second, like writing, but not in any language he knew. They faded as fast as they came. Eli paused. He had a bad feeling now. She wasn't just an alien. She was something more. He continued cleaning her wounds. The bleeding slowed. Her breathing got steadier. Then, in a soft voice, she spoke again. "They're coming." "Who?" Eli asked. "The hunters," she whispered. "They'll find me. They always do." Eli felt a chill. "What are you talking about?" But she didn't answer. Her eyes closed, and she passed out. Eli looked around his small cabin. He had no weapons, no way to fight if someone, or something, came looking for her, and yet he didn't feel like running. He looked at her again. Even unconscious, she looked scared, lost, like a child left behind. He sighed. "Great," he muttered to himself. "What did I just get myself into?" Outside, the wind blew harder. The fire in the crash site had gone out. The forest was dark again. But in the distance, something else was moving. And it was getting closer. The mark. Eli didn't sleep that night. He sat in a wooden chair beside the alien girl, watching her chest rise and fall. She was still breathing, barely, but every breath was slow, as if it hurt. Her skin shimmered faintly in the candlelight, pale blue with silver lines running under it, like glowing veins. The wind outside howled like wolves. Branches scratched the windows. But Eli didn't look away from her, not even once. He had questions, too many. Who was she? Why did her skin glow? And who were the hunters she warned about? His mind raced. He had helped injured animals before, birds, a fox, even a wild dog once. But this was something else, something far beyond what he understood. Then something strange happened. As the candle flickered beside her, the light caught a shape, a symbol, on her neck. It looked like a burn mark, but it wasn't made by fire. It was sharp and clean, like it had been stamped into her skin. It wasn't a word. It wasn't in any language Eli knew. It was a circle with jagged lines through it. Inside the circle, there was something like an eye. Eli reached out slowly. His fingers touched the mark. Instantly, she gasped and opened her eyes. The room darkened for a split second. The shadows moved on their own. The candlelight stretched long and thin, as if time had slowed. "Don't touch the mark," she whispered, voice dry like dust. Eli pulled his hand back. "What is it?" She didn't answer. Her eyes darted toward the window. "They'll find me through it," she said. "It burns when they get close." Eli walked to the window and looked out into the night. Nothing moved. No lights. No machines. No drones. Just trees and darkness. But something felt wrong. A pressure in the air. A silence too deep. "Who are they?" he asked. The girl sat up with effort. "The ones who took me. They call themselves humans, but they're not like you." Eli frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked him in the eyes. Her voice became stronger. "They wear human faces. They speak your language. But inside, there's something else. Cold. Empty." Eli stepped back. "Why were they after you?" She raised her arm and pointed to her veins. "Because of this, I carry memory, not mine, but from all my people. They want it. They want to use it. Twist it. Turn it into a weapon." Eli tried to understand. "Memory? Like history?" She nodded. "History, knowledge, power." He shook his head. "That's insane. We don't do that." Her face turned hard. "You don't, but they do. They wear uniforms. They have labs in the mountains. Cold places. Secret." Suddenly, she leaned forward, grabbing Eli's wrist. Her grip was stronger than before. "It's not safe here," she said. "We have to leave." "You can't even walk," Eli replied. "Then you'll carry me." Eli sighed. Where would we even go? Before she could answer, they both froze. Outside, a soft humming sound began. Not loud, but deep, like something heavy moving just above the trees. Eli moved to the door slowly and opened it a crack. The forest was no longer empty. Red lights moved between the trees, scanning the ground. The air shimmered above them, as if something invisible floated in the sky. A drone. No, more than one. Eli closed the door fast and turned to her. "How did they find us so fast?" Her face went pale. She touched her neck. "The mark," she said. "It's not just a tracker. It's a signal, a calling beacon." Eli's blood ran cold. "Can it be removed?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, but not easily, and not without pain." He swallowed hard. "What happens if we don't?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "They won't kill you. They'll take you. They'll use you like they used me. Your mind, your memories, your body." A bang outside made both of them jump. A red light moved across the window. "They're scanning the cabin," Eli whispered. He made a choice. He grabbed his tools, knives, wire, a soldering iron, anything sharp or useful. He placed her on the table again. "We take it out. Now." She didn't argue. She lay still, biting down on a piece of cloth. Eli took a deep breath, then began to cut the skin near the mark. She screamed. It wasn't just pain, it was something deeper. As the mark was cut, The cabin lights flickered. The room shook. The candles blew out by themselves. The mark bulged silver. When Eli pulled it free, it was like holding a living creature. The metal twisted in his hand, as if it were angry. Without thinking, he threw it into the fire. A burst of white light flashed inside the flames. The windows cracked. Outside, the drones went silent. Then, nothing. Silence. Syra passed out again. Eli fell to his knees, shaking. The mark was gone, but something else had begun. The hunters knew she was alive. And now, they knew he was with her. The memory. The cabin was quiet again. Too quiet. The only sound was the soft ticking of a broken wall clock that hadn't worked in years. Eli sat in the corner, hands shaking, staring at the burn marks on the floor where he had destroyed the alien tracker. Syra lay still on the table, her breathing shallow but steady. The silver blood had stopped flowing. Her skin no longer glowed, but the strange energy in the room still lingered, like the air had memory of what happened. Eli looked at her. He had saved her life. But now he was marked too. Not by a device, not by a scar, but by something deeper, knowledge. He had seen things while removing the mark. Visions, flashing images, faces he didn't recognize, cities made of light, machines floating above oceans, screams, a planet burning, a child holding a crystal, a lab full of cages, human voices shouting. A name, Project HFY. He hadn't just removed a tracker. The mark had shown him her memories, and now he couldn't forget. Sarah opened her eyes. She looked at him, confused. "You saw it," she said softly. He nodded, not speaking. "You weren't supposed to," she added. "It wasn't meant for you." "I didn't try to," Eli said. "It just happened." They sat in silence. Outside, the forest was still, but it felt like something was watching, just beyond the trees. Eli stood and started pacing. "I saw a lab," he said. "I saw humans. Testing you. Others like you. Are they still alive?" Syra looked away. "No, I'm the last." Eli clenched his fists. What the hell were they doing? She stared at the ceiling. They were trying to become gods. Eli frowned. "What?" Syra sat up slowly. Her energy was returning, but her eyes looked older now, tired, like someone who had lived 1,000 years. "Your people found my ship," she said, "long ago, before I was even born. They captured my kind. They called it research, but it was more than that." Eli remembered the name again, Project HFY. "They wanted our minds," she continued, "our memories. We do not write history like you. We carry it. Inside us, each generation holds the full memory of those before." "Like a living archive?" Eli asked. "Yes, and they wanted it. They'd wanted to steal it." Eli sat down across from her. "But why?" "Because your world is dying," she whispered. "Your leaders, they know. Your planet is breaking. Your people fight too much, too greedy, too afraid. They want control. They thought our memories would show them how to save Earth. But they didn't want peace. They wanted power." Eli felt cold all over. He had always known something was wrong with the world. Cities crumbling, water poisoned, skies filled with smoke. But he thought it was just life. Now it felt like part of something bigger. Syra looked into his eyes. "When they realized they couldn't control the memories, they started killing us." Eli couldn't breathe for a moment. "But why keep you alive?" "Because I have something none of the others had. Something they couldn't unlock. A deeper layer. Ancient knowledge. Older than stars." He blinked. "Like what?" She hesitated. "A map." Eli leaned forward. "A map to what?" "A place," she said. "A source. Not just of memory, but energy. Life. Power enough to restart a world. Or destroy one." That's when the fear hit him. If those hunters, or the people behind Project ECHO found her again, it wouldn't be about research anymore. It would be war. And Earth wasn't ready. He stood. We have to leave this place. Now. Syra nodded. There's something I didn't tell you. What? The beacon I destroyed. It was only part of the signal. Another part is inside me. In my blood. When I sleep, it pulses. Eli stepped back. So they still might find you. Yes. And next time, they won't send drones. They'll send soldiers. Eli turned to his old desk. In the drawer was a device he had never been able to fix, a voice translator, old tech from before the wars. He grabbed it. I need you to help me fix this, he said. We need to talk fast, understand each other better. We can't survive with broken words. Syra walked slowly to the table and sat beside him. I'll help, but you need to understand something first. What? She placed her fingers to his temple. Eli's vision went white. Suddenly, he wasn't in the cabin anymore. He stood inside a giant white room. A dome of light. Floating symbols moved around him. He saw himself, older, wiser, with a weapon of light in his hands, standing beside Syra. In the distance, he saw Earth, burning. Then, a voice echoed in his head. You were always part of this, Eli. You just didn't know it yet. He gasped and stumbled back. The vision vanished. His heart pounded. What was that? He asked, breathless. Syra looked at him sadly. A future. One of many. Eli clenched his jaw. Then let's make sure it's not this one. Outside, the sound of helicopters began to rise. Lights appeared far off in the forest, moving fast. They were out of time. He procedure. The sound of helicopters grew louder with each second. Eli grabbed his backpack and stuffed in what little food, batteries, and tools he had left. Syra stood near the door, her legs still weak, but her mind clear. Her eyes glowed softly now, not just with fear, but with energy. It was as if she had crossed a line and couldn't go back. We can't stay here, Eli said, pulling on his coat. You said they'll send soldiers next. If they find us in this cabin, we're dead. Syra nodded. We have to go north. Mountains. There's something hidden there. What is it? She looked out the window. A place where memories can't be tracked. A blackout zone. They built it for one of their own. Now we use it. Eli didn't ask how she knew that. Not now. There was no time. Outside, the trees were shaking under the rotor winds. Searchlights moved across the sky. Eli pushed open the back door, leading into the thickest part of the woods. Go. Now. They ran, silent, fast, hearts pounding. The forest swallowed them, but the lights followed. Red dots danced through the trees like hunting eyes. After an hour of running, the forest grew colder. The ground turned icy, covered in frost though it was spring. That's when Syra stopped walking. She collapsed. Eli dropped beside her, breathing hard. What's wrong? She didn't answer right away. Then she lifted her hand. Her veins glowed again. Bright this time. Pulsing like a heartbeat. They're getting closer, she whispered. The second signal. It's waking up. Eli stared at her in shock. I thought you said the tracker was destroyed. It was, she said. But the real signal was never in the tracker. It was always inside me. Hidden in my blood. His hands tightened into fists. Then we cut it out. Syra looked at him. You might kill me. If we don't try, they'll kill us both. A long pause. Then she nodded. There's a way, but it's not just surgery. It's memory extraction. Eli blinked. I don't understand. She pulled a small crystal vial from inside her jacket. It glowed with a soft violet light. This pulls memory, the kind that lives deep. The signal is linked to the memory of my capture. If you can extract it, you can break the chain. But how do I use it? Eli asked. She looked into his eyes. You'll have to go inside me. Not just my body. My mind. Eli stared at the vial. Is that safe? No. He exhaled. Let's do it. They found a cave near the edge of the hill, a narrow space, hidden behind thick bushes. Inside, Eli set up a small fire. Syra lay down beside it, her skin glowing stronger now, shaking. Her body was overheating. Time was running out. She handed him the vial. Put it near my temple. It will pull the memory, but once it starts, you can't stop. If you do, I might lose everything. Eli knelt beside her. If I do this wrong, you won't, she said. He placed the crystal against her head. A jolt of energy knocked him backward. Suddenly, everything changed. Inside the mind, Eli stood in a white hallway. Endless doors lined the walls. Each door pulsed with light. Some blue, some red, some shaking violently. This was her memory. He walked slowly, uncertain. Then one door opened by itself. He stepped inside. A laboratory. Cold, bright, metallic. He saw Syra, chained to a table. Needles in her arms, wires on her head. Human scientists in suits walking around her. Machines flashing. They called her Subject 9. Then he saw her scream, not from pain, from betrayal. Someone was there, a man in uniform. Human, but his face was wrong. Blank eyes, skin too perfect. He wasn't human, not really. Begin echo transfer, the man said. Suddenly, Syra's body began to glow, violently. Her blood lit up, just like now. The signal. This was it. Eli ran forward. He tried to stop it, but it was just memory. He couldn't change anything. Then the man turned and looked straight at him. You don't belong here, the man said. Eli backed away. You're not real. The man stepped closer. I'm more real than you think. Suddenly, the room exploded with light. Eli screamed. Back in the cave. He woke up gasping. The vial was cracked, empty. His hands were burning. Syra was breathing deeply, calm now. The glow had stopped. The signal was gone. Eli looked down at his arm. There was a new mark. Not like hers, but something new. A symbol burned into his skin. A key. She sat up slowly. You broke the chain, she said. But now, it's linked to you. Eli stared at his arm. What does that mean? She looked at him with fear and awe. It means you're not just helping anymore. You're becoming part of it. A low rumble echoed through the valley. Then, a voice crackled through a speaker, far off in the trees. Subject 9 has transferred. New carrier located. Initiating full capture. Eli looked up. They weren't hunting Syra anymore. Now they were hunting him. The hunter's arrival. Snow had begun to fall by the time they reached the ridgeline. The cave behind them was dark now, silent and empty. A memory already swallowed by the cold forest. But the air around them was not peaceful. It felt heavy, like it was waiting. Eli's breath came in clouds. His body was sore. Every step burned in his legs, but he kept walking. Not just for survival, for Syra. Beside him, she moved faster now, stronger. Her wounds were healed. Her skin no longer shimmered faintly. Now it glowed with soft pulses of energy, timed with her heartbeat. The forest around her seemed to bend away slightly, as if nature itself could feel what was waking inside her. They were close to the mountain's base. Syra said there was a facility hidden deep inside. An old science bunker abandoned decades ago after something went wrong. She never said what. Eli hadn't asked. He didn't need to. The voice from the forest still echoed in his head. Subject 9 has transferred. New carrier located. He touched the mark on his arm. It had stopped burning, but he could still feel it, like a second pulse under his skin. They were after him now. The hunters. But what were they? He remembered the memory. Cyrus screaming in the lab. The man in the uniform. Too perfect, too still. And those eyes. Hollow, hungry, not human, not alien either. Something in between. As they approached the mountain pass, Cyrus suddenly stopped. "They're close," she said. Eli turned. "How close?" She closed her eyes. "I feel their minds. Cold. Organized. Not machines, not men. Like wolves made of glass." Eli reached into his bag and pulled out the old blaster he had found years ago during a raid on an abandoned checkpoint. It was half working, barely charged. But it was something. "If they want me, they'll have to fight for it." Syra didn't answer. She was staring at the sky. Eli followed her gaze. Above the tree line, a shape appeared. Then another, and another. 3 silver craft, not large, but fast. Silent, like ghosts with engines. They didn't hover like helicopters or fly like jets. They moved like thoughts. Smooth, twitchless, exact. The first one stopped midair. The forest below it stopped breathing. Birds fell silent. Wind dropped dead. Then, a beam of red light fired straight downward, scanning the earth. Sarah grabbed Eli's arm. "We run." But it was too late. The snow exploded. From the ground rose tall, metallic figures, 6 of them, each 8 feet high, skin like black chrome, eyes like burning coals. No mouths, no voices. The hunters had arrived. They didn't walk. They glided, their limbs unfolding with perfect balance, their bodies humming with static. Each carried a staff, not a weapon Eli had ever seen. A smooth rod of vibrating crystal. Cyrus stepped in front of Eli, her hand glowing now. "If they touch you, the mark activates," she said. "They'll pull your mind apart to find the map." Eli gritted his teeth. "What happens if I fight them?" "You die." "Then what's the plan?" Cyrus' eyes locked onto the lead hunter. "You run. I hold them off." Eli shook his head. "No, not leaving you again." Syra looked over her shoulder. "Eli, it's not about leaving." She raised her hand. The forest caught fire. But not from flames, from light. Golden energy burst from her palm and slammed into the ground in front of the hunters. Trees split in half. Snow turned to steam. The mountain itself seemed to groan. The hunters paused, not out of fear, but calculation, studying her power. Then the lead hunter raised its staff. A sharp hum filled the air, the sound of time splitting. Eli fired his blaster. The bolt hit the hunter's chest, and did nothing. It absorbed the hit like a rock swallows a raindrop. Syra turned, angry. "I said run." But before Eli could move, one of the hunters flicked its staff. A beam of white energy shot toward him. Syra leaped between them, arms outstretched. The blast hit her, and rebounded. Not because she blocked it, because her body reflected it, like a mirror made of memory. The beam flew back and struck the second hunter, who fell instantly, its body crumbling into dust. Eli stared, shocked. "How did you do that?" Syra was shaking. "I didn't. My memory did." "What does that mean?" "Some of my ancestors, they weren't just peaceful." The hunters regrouped. 5 now. Angry. They began to circle. One leaped through the air, spinning with its staff raised. Eli grabbed Syra's hand. Together. She looked at him, surprised. "You don't have power." "I don't need it. I have you." She nodded, smiled faintly. "Then listen to me. When I say fall, fall." "Why?" "Because the sky is about to answer." Eli ducked. Syra raised both hands to the sky and screamed. The clouds split open. Above them, an arc of light shot down, not from a weapon, not from Earth. It was old. Alien. Her ancestors were listening. The hunters paused again. For the first time, they stepped back. Then the sky spoke in a voice older than time. Carrier confirmed. Bloodline preserved. Enemy rejected. 3 of the hunters froze. Then shattered. Syra collapsed into Ela's arms, shaking, eyes glowing wild. "I didn't call them," she whispered. "They came anyway." Eli held her tight, heart thudding. "Who were they?" he asked. She looked up at the clouds, still pulsing with ancient light. "Not who," she said. "What comes next?" The truth revealed. The storm had passed. The sky was quiet now, but not calm. The clouds above the mountains still glowed faintly with golden light, the echo of something far older than the earth itself. Eli sat beside the fire inside an ancient stone bunker, deep beneath the ice ridge. This place was forgotten by time. The walls were covered in moss and dust, but deep beneath it, he could still see the carvings, alien markings that pulsed when Syra walked past. She stood at the far wall now, tracing one of the symbols with her hand. Her expression was distant, almost sad. "You lied to me," Eli said quietly. Syra didn't turn. "About what?" "About what you are." She was silent for a moment. Then she finally said it. "I'm not just the last of my kind. I'm the first of something new." Eli didn't understand. She turned to face him. Her eyes had changed. Not just the color, deeper, layered, like she held 1,000 souls behind them. "My ancestors," she began, "were not just peaceful travelers. They were keepers of the gate, protectors of something sacred, a source of memory, energy, and time. But when the gate was lost, they began dying. The knowledge faded. One by one, the lines ended." She walked toward him slowly. "I was born different. I carry all of them, every voice, every life. They live inside me, waiting." Eli felt the weight of her words. "That's why the humans wanted you." Syra nodded. Project ECHO wasn't just science. It was prophecy. Your kind found ancient data, wreckage from a fallen starship buried beneath the Pacific. It spoke of a carrier, the living being who could guide the path between galaxies. "And they thought it was you," Eli said. Syra looked away. "They weren't wrong, but they weren't the first." Eli stood now. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then stepped closer. Her hand touched his marked arm. "The signal chose you. That was an accident." "No," she said. "It was recognition." Eli backed away. "I'm not one of you." Syra looked at him, this time, not with sadness, but with truth. "Aren't you?" The fire crackled behind them. Then she pointed toward a wall of the bunker. Eli turned and saw something that stopped his heart. A mural, ancient, carved into the stone. It showed 2 figures, one blue, one human, standing beside each other under a broken sky. Above them was a star-shaped seal, and behind them, war, burning cities, dying stars, and at the bottom of the carving the hand, marked with the same symbol that now burned on Ela's arm. He stepped closer. "This is a prophecy." Syra nodded. "You were always part of this." "But how?" "I was just a scavenger." "You were hidden," she said. "Someone placed you far from all of this. But the blood doesn't lie." Eli touched the mark again. It wasn't hot now, but it pulsed, soft, like a second heartbeat. "My parents?" he asked. She shook her head. "Not your real ones. You were planted. Your DNA carries both lines, human and something else." Eli sat down. The truth was too big to carry. "Then who am I?" Syra took his hand. "You're the lock, and I'm the key." Suddenly, the ground rumbled. Eli jumped to his feet. What was that? Syra looked toward the back wall. A panel of ancient stone shifted, revealing a hidden doorway, glowing with golden light. "They found us," she said. "No," Eli whispered. "Something else did." The doorway opened slowly. A long tunnel stretched into the mountain. Cold wind rushed out, but it wasn't air. It was memory. Voices whispered in the dark. Syra turned to him. There's no turning back now. Once we go in, we either finish this, or everything ends. Eli tightened his grip on her hand. Then we finish it. But as they stepped into the tunnel, a voice echoed behind them. Deep, inhuman, familiar. You were never meant to open the gate. They turned. A tall figure stood at the edge of the firelight. A man in a black coat, face pale, eyes blank. Eli recognized him. The man from Syra's memory. The lab. The uniform. But now his skin rippled like static, and his form twitched, as if something inside him wanted out. Who are you? Eli demanded. The man smiled. A broken smile, too wide. I am what remains of the first attempt, he said. The first vessel. They failed with me. But they learned and waited for the right pair. He pointed at Syra. You, the key. Then at Eli. And you, the final door. Before they could move, the figure vanished. Not with sound, not with light, but like a page being erased. Gone. Syra looked at Eli, breath shaking. If he enters the gate before us, he'll end everything. Then we stop him, Eli said, whatever it takes. They stepped into the golden tunnel together. Behind them, the mountain began to tremble. Ahead of them, the gate was waking up. The escape. The tunnel felt endless. Eli and Syra walked side by side, their shadows stretching behind them like echoes. The walls were smooth and alive, covered in glowing symbols that changed as they passed, not reacting to them, but reading them, like the mountain remembered. The deeper they went, the quieter the world became. Even their footsteps made no sound. The air itself was heavy, like standing inside a deep breath that had never been released. Finally, they stepped into a massive chamber. The gate. It wasn't metal. It wasn't stone. It was light, floating in a perfect ring above a platform made of ancient crystal. At the center, spinning slowly, was a black sphere, a memory core. The source of all the voices, of all Syra's pain, of all Eli's visions. Syra fell to her knees, eyes wide. We're here. Eli stared at the floating sphere. This is where it all started. No, she whispered. This is where it starts again. But before they could move closer, the air changed. A shape walked into the chamber behind them. Not loud, not fast, just confident. The man in black, the failed vessel. But now he looked different. His coat burned away, revealing skin like cracked glass. Light blowed from the cracks, red and gold, pulsing like a dying star. His face flickered between human and something else. Alien, ancient, broken. You opened it for me, he said, just as they planned. Eli stepped in front of Syra. We didn't open anything for you. The man smiled. You don't understand, he said. Project HFY was never about studying her kind. It was about awakening mine. I was the first experiment, the first to survive. But I was incomplete. I needed a carrier. I needed a gatekeeper. He looked at Syra. And I needed a map. Syra stood now, her skin glowing bright. You'll never reach the gate. You're not worthy. Worthy, he laughed. There's no such thing. There's only who gets there first. He raised his hand. The memory core pulsed. Instantly, the room shook. The walls lit up with thousands of memories, flooding into the air. Scenes of war, starships exploding, planets dying, children crying, kings crowned, civilizations rising and falling. All of it, all at once. Eli grabbed his head. Make it stop. He's forcing the gate open, Syra gasped. He'll flood the world with memory and erase everything real. The enemy stepped onto the platform. I will become the new origin, the new god. But before he could reach the core, Eli ran forward. Eli, no. Syra screamed. He didn't stop. He tackled the man just before he touched the sphere. The two of them crashed onto the floor. But it was too late. The core flashed. The gate opened. Inside the memory field, Eli woke up standing in white space. Endless, floating symbols around him. He turned and saw his own face. Then a boy. Then a soldier. Then something alien. Memories not just of himself, but of others. Cyrus people, the humans, the enemies, the gatekeepers, the traitors, all of them. Then a voice. Choose. He turned. The gate pulsed in front of him. The memory core floated above a pedestal. Beside it, the man in black, rising again, smiling. You can't win, the man said. You're just a scavenger. Eli looked at his own hands. They were glowing now. No, he said. I'm a survivor. Then he reached into the core. A beam of light shot out, into him. Not pain. Understanding. He saw everything. Who Syra really was. Why she was chosen. The gate's true purpose. It wasn't a weapon. It was a reset. A key that could either erase memory or restart it clean. The man in black lunged toward him. But Syra's voice filled the air. Eli, on with you. Her light entered the space, crashing into the enemy like a star. He screamed, shattered by memory itself. The gate pulsed again, then went still. Back in the chamber, Eli collapsed on the platform. Syra caught him. The gate had closed. The memory core was gone. The mountain was silent again. Is it over? She asked. Eli opened his eyes slowly. No, he whispered. It's just beginning. She smiled. You saw it, didn't you? The future. I did, he said. And it's not written yet. They stood together, looking out at the long tunnel behind them. The enemy was gone. But the world outside still waited, broken, dangerous, full of lies and shadows. Syra took his hand. Then we make it right, she said. And they walked out of the chamber, side by side. Carriers of memory, keepers of truth, and the last hope for a world that had forgotten who it was.